Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 254. It is Monday here in Cincinnati. It is cooler, it's rainy. We have really gray skies outside and everything is soaking wet. It started raining yesterday, I guess last night. It looks like it's going to rain for a couple days and it just feels really nice. It's been hot and sticky, and so it feels really good to have some moisture in the air and some gray clouds just to give us a little time to cocoon in and rest maybe a little bit. Yeah, so here we are. It's the week of a new moon on Friday. We shifted from Leo to Virgo last week. We are moving towards a holiday weekend here in the U.S. It's Labor Day weekend, which traditionally for all of us is a symbol of summer is ending. Everyone's going back to school that would be going to school, and we are changing seasons. We are moving from summer into fall. My husband started back to school almost 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks ago, and then my son starts back on Wednesday. And so there's a lot of endings and beginnings and transitions that are happening. The biggest one in my own journey is that my daughter leaves tomorrow for a semester of studying abroad. And so we've been busy just supporting her as she gets all the details together and starts packing. And tomorrow we take her to the airport, so there will not be a podcast tomorrow. But if you'd like, you can send lots of love and good wishes to my girl as she heads overseas. But it's another transition, another threshold, another releasing. That was a really big sigh that I just had. It's another phase of this journey that we take as parents and co-creators in a family, where each of us are bringing the best of who we are into the relationships, and often that requires or calls forward another expansion. And when that expansion starts to happen, everyone in the family dynamic is adjusting because one is stretching. And when one of the group stretches, then we all kind of have to readjust and settle into that bigger space and figure out what it means for each one of us. The reason I'm bringing all of this up is it's very much in alignment with what is happening collectively on our planet, and then also what is happening collectively in the work that I do here in this container of Gaia's Love podcast, in the circles and spaces that I hold here in the work that I do for my soul journey. We'll start with a collective global shift. What I have been feeling for a while, but it's definitely been intensifying, is that more and more of humanity is awakening. We are starting to realize that we've really had some things we could have done better in our journey as humans here on Earth in order for more love to expand on this planet instead of fear and chaos and density. And when a collective group begins to awaken and stretch their wings and look at the ways that they have been doing things, we start reflecting to each other what we are seeing. And for those who don't really want to see, it's very uncomfortable. And we don't like when someone tells us that something is out of alignment or that we're not doing it the best way we possibly could. And that has been the case for quite a while within humanity, but more and more and more intensely just recently. So we we are hitting a place, a time of detoxification. This is why I have the title of A Reset. We are being offered the possibility, the opportunity as humans to see what is of greatest service to each other, to ourselves, to this planet that we walk on, and then to make choices that align us with those best possibilities. So we've done many selfish things as a humanity that were awesome and great at the time that we did them. We probably don't even regret it. And yet now we're starting to realize the luxuries, the habits, the routines that most delight us perhaps come at a very great cost to our planet, come at a very great cost to the overall health of us as humans in physical bodies. And so there are ways and places we can make changes and start to come back into greater health. Yeah, which if we're not interested in looking at that or being a part of that, it's going to get uncomfortable as more and more people are talking about it and making choices that align with being healthier. So the invitation in this podcast space is perhaps we can be ahead of the curve. Perhaps we can be those ones that are going a little out in front and saying, things are changing and they're going to change very rapidly, and why don't we forge a new path? Why don't we collaborate on projects and ideas that perhaps are going to bring us all into greater health at a faster and more graceful pace, so that we are making it more normal to talk about what we are sensing or feeling is happening, which then provides a bridge for the people who are still hiding, not wanting to talk about the health of our planet, not wanting to look at the health of our mind, body, spirit. Those who are still in the beds with the covers over their heads, like, oh, we've been there. I think we've all been there. So it's not about judging that they're wrong for still covering their ears and shaking their heads. No, we don't want to hear that. We've all had those moments. We know how scary it is for times to change. And so perhaps we can be the leading edge of guiding many through the changes that are starting to happen. So what does that mean for you if you're listening? It begins with each one of us starting to feel where we could be healthier. And perhaps if your body is healthy, the place where you can be healthier is in your mind, in the way that you talk to yourself, in the way that you spin or loop ideas, in the way that you go down rabbit holes of judgment or blame or projection. Perhaps the place for you to be in greater health is to start with your mind and working on controlling your thoughts, clearing out the fear when you feel it coming in. If your mind is clear, your body is clear, perhaps the place where you begin is, can you tune in more and more to what your soul would like you to know about what is happening on our planet, about what is happening in humanity? And how do you do that? You get quiet. You get really quiet and you listen. You start to understand how your soul speaks to you. It may speak to you through signs, through pictures, through words, through audio, through books that just suddenly are all that you hear about that you know you now have to read. It may be through relationships where your soul is starting to show you this is not healthy, or this is not in alignment for you, or you need more time with more like-minded people so that you can bring your soul gifts forward. And so you trust where you are pulled to spend your time. And so your soul will create the pathway for you if you learn to listen, if you learn to understand that there is a pathway that's being created, and you surrender into the flow of that instead of fighting to swim upstream to a place that you don't even know where that is. It's much easier to just get into that river of energy that you trust feels so good, and allow your soul to take you down the river into the places that most serve you and everyone else. So that's where we can begin. We can begin with ourselves, our own mind, body, spirit. We can begin by paying more attention to the health of our planet. What some may see as paying attention to the health of our planet would be through action. So perhaps you are, by your nature, an activist, and so you want to create groups or join groups that are actively working on how do we bring more healing to our planet? How do we create products and processes that are less disruptive to the sustainability of our planet? How do we reduce our carbon footprints? How do we reduce the amount of waste that we're creating? And so you may have this sense of activism that pulls you into things that you never thought you would do, but they delight you when you do them. And that joy that runs through you is such a sign that you're in the right place, doing the right thing for you. If you're like me, your activism may be through energy. It may be through becoming a voice for the feeling of what's happening on our planet. Sharing stories, sharing ideas, guiding meditations, guiding energy clearings. Tapping into what you feel or know to be true about Gaia, and then sharing that so that others can learn how to use energy or partner. It's like, when the energy companies first started giving credits to homeowners when they would make a change that would make the house more environmentally friendly. So for example, we got a credit back recently because we installed, a new air conditioning unit? I think it was a new air conditioning unit that was more energy efficient. And so the energy company gives your credit back. It's exactly that same way when humans engage with the energy of Gaia. When we learn or just simply begin practicing connecting our energy through our feet into the planet itself, into the dirt underneath our feet, when we act and feel as if we are like trees that are such an essential part of breathing with our planet, releasing, detoxifying with our planet, grounding in and creating rooting systems underneath the dirt, when we become like trees in the sense of partnering with Gaia to create health, to breathe with our planet, we are magnificently important and powerful co-creators in our planet breathing better, in moving mind energy down through to our feet and into the earth and stopping that wasted energy. It's like, I keep going back to the credit of the energy companies. If you leave all the lights on in the house and then you're not in the house and the lights are just running electricity but no one's even using it, that's wasted energy. It's taxing the resources of our planet to feed the house with lights that nobody's using. It's exactly the same for our human bodies. If we are running these thoughts in our minds that are completely useless, that don't have any basis in actual reality, that are just worry, 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 worry. It's like leaving the electricity running in your house, but not even being there. If we become more present, if we can bring all of our power, our individual energy, and we harness it in our bodies to be right here in this moment, right here in this moment, not worrying about the past, not projecting into the future, just being right here. Our energy is like the LED lights. We become one with the energy field of Earth, and so she doesn't have to run us energy to try to calm us down from the thoughts that we have been looping in our minds for ages. We're just one energy system, and we are slow and easy, and we're breathing, just like the trees. The trees aren't worrying about if they're going to die or if they're new or old. They're just being trees. And in that, they provide shade. They breathe with the planet. They're beautiful. They're peaceful. We can be exactly like that, except in the human body, we can still create. We can still bring new things into form besides just our own human tree bodies. we can move around the planet instead of being tied to one place like a tree would be. Our experience can be so joyful and so collaborative with our planet. And we do that through energy, through presence. So perhaps your form of activism, as we feel into this reset that is happening on our earth right now, perhaps your form of activism is to tune into energy and to share what you're seeing and feeling. And then allow that to guide those who are still hiding in the beds with the covers over their heads because the changes are just too fast and too uncomfortable. Give them a way to see that it's good. It's a gift to be able to connect to Gaia. And then to be able to share what we're feeling and create this community sense of humanity. Not divisive, not separate. Working together as one unit. Partnering with Earth. It's absolutely an incredible time to be alive right now. And this reset that is happening, it will show up in your life in exactly the way that most serves your soul's expansion in your human body. So as we can trust that and start to flow and surrender into this river, this movement of energy that is carrying us downstream, and we stop kicking and, what is it, the salmon? Don't the salmon swim upstream? It doesn't have to be that hard. It really doesn't. And it can be so much more joyous and peaceful and expansive and loving to just surrender into what is happening. And then share if you feel called. If that's your form of activism, share your voice, share your ideas, share your poetry, your art, your creations. It's good. It's really good. So, yeah, that's where I am right now. And tomorrow I take my daughter in my human journey to the airport, and off she goes into her next expansion. And all of us here expand simply because she's choosing to expand. And then we begin more school for my son the next day, and these expansions, these beautiful circles just keep getting bigger and bigger, and there's more room and more space inside of these groups, these families, for us to be more, be bigger. It's just magnificent. Thank you for tuning into this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me in aligning with the optimal health of your mind, body, spirit in the virtual community of Viv's Energy Gym. You can learn more at mysouljourney.com. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.